In this lesson, we're going to have a look at partial fractions. So what actually are partial fractions? Well, what I'm going to do is the opposite of partial fractions now. I'm going to do combining fractions. So let's say we had 5 over x plus 6 over x plus 3. So now I'm going to ask you to pause and combine those into a single fraction. So go for it. So the common denominator is x plus 3. And the first thing we multiplied by x plus 3. So we're going to do the same to the top. And the second one we multiplied the denominator by x. So we're going to multiply the top by x also. Which is equal to 5x plus 15 plus 6x over x plus 3. Finally, equal to 11x plus 15 over x plus 3. And then we've taken two separate fractions, added together, and combined them into a single fraction. So these here are partial fractions. There's two parts to it. There's 5 over x and there's 6 over x plus 3. And this here is a combined fraction. So terminology wise, partial fractions are what we started with here, and a combined fraction is what we end up with, sometimes called a compound fraction. But the challenge lies with taking a compound fraction and working backwards to get the partial fractions, and that now is what I'm going to show you how to do. So if we're asked to write this in partial fractions, the first thing I would do, 11x plus 15 over x plus 3. And I know that I want two separate fractions, one with denominator x and one with denominator x plus 3. So I'm going to say it is equal to a number that I don't know over x plus another number I don't know over x plus 3. And it's our job now to find out what a and b are. So in this example we know a is 5 and a is 6 because this is what we started off with. But let's show the process of how to get a is 5 and b is 6. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply by the denominator of the left hand side here. Multiply everything by it. So that leaves me with 11x plus 15 is identical to a times x plus 3 over x. The two x's cancel, leaving just x plus 3. Plus b over x plus 3 times x plus 3. The x plus 3's cancel, leaving just x. So all's good so far. So the next thing we're going to do, because this is an identity, because this expression here is identical to that one, any value of x we sub in will work. But what we're going to do, we're going to sub in tactical values of x to eliminate variables on the right hand side. So I'm going to sub in first x equals minus 3, which will make this part disappear. So let's sub in x equals minus 3. So subbing in x equals minus 3, we get minus 33 plus 15 equals no longer an identity because we're talking about specific numbers. Well, this collapses to 0 because minus 3 plus 3 is 0 equals minus 3b. Okay. So minus 33 plus 15. When exam nerves get you done, do any calculations in your head. Make use of the calculator. So minus 18 equals minus 3b, which means that b equals 6. As we expected, the number over x plus 3 is 6. Right, let's do another. So the next one we've got to sub in to make this collapse to 0 is x equals 0. So x equals 0, which means that on the left hand side 15 equals 3a, which means that a equals 5. Therefore, concluding we've got 5 over x plus 6 over x plus 3, which was what we started with. So we've managed it. And that's the method each and every time. So let's have a look at another example. So exactly the same method again. Express 3 minus 2x over x times 3 minus x in partial fractions. So follow exactly the same method that you did. So you might want to pause it, have a go, and see if your answer matches mine. But I'll carry on. So we've got the left hand side, 3 minus 2x over x, 3 minus x. And we want that identical to a number over x plus another number over 3 minus x. Multiplying both sides by the denominator of the left, we get 3 minus 2x is identical to a 3 minus x plus bx. Let x equal 3. Which means that, so 3 minus 6 is minus 3. This disappears. Equals 3b, which means that b equals minus 1. Next tactical value to make this disappear would be x equals 0. That gives the left hand side 3 minus 2 lots of 0, 3, equals 3a, which means that a equals 1. Therefore, our partial fractions are 1 over x minus 1 over 3 minus x. Or an equally acceptable answer would be plus minus 1, 3 over x. But I prefer it looking like that. So there we have it, expressing a compound expression in partial fractions. So we're going to do another, and we're going to introduce an extra type of partial fraction now, and it's a special case. So this type of example here looks like it only has 2 factors on the bottom, but actually we need to use 3 factors. So almost the same method as before, but slightly different when there's repeated factors. So 2 plus x squared, identical to a over 1 plus x, as expected, but this 2 plus x squared gives rise to 2 factors. We've got the linear factor, 2 plus x, but also 2 plus x squared. We need to use both the single and the double bracket in this case. So remember, and I can't stress this enough, when there's a repeated factor on the bottom, use the single and the double factor. Right, let's continue. So we've got, now multiplying both sides by the denominator, 3x plus 4, which is identical to, and on the first factor here, the 1 plus x cancels. So we get a 2 plus x squared plus b, and one of the 2 plus x's cancel to give 1 plus x, 2 plus x, plus c, and the 2 plus x squared cancels to give just 1 plus x, like that. Okay, so now we're going to use tactical factors to make some of these disappear. So let's first of all try and make the 2 plus x disappear by letting x equal minus 2. So let x equal minus 2, which means that 3 lots of minus 2, minus 6, plus 4, which gives minus 2 on the left hand side, equals, so we'll see that disappears, and that disappears because that's got a factor of 2 plus x as well, to give minus c, which means that c equals 2 in this case. Now if we let x equal minus 1, that means that on the left hand side, 3 lots of minus 1 plus 4 is 1. 2 minus 1 squared is 1. So equals 1a. And the other two disappear, leaving a equals 1. Brilliant. But we've ran out of nice tactical factors now. So remember before I said that any single value of x will work. Well, I'm going to choose the easiest value of x I possibly can that we haven't already used. I'm going to use 0, which means that 4 equals, well, we know a is 1, so 1 times 2 plus 0 squared is 4, plus, and we don't know b yet, so b times 1 times 2 makes 2b, plus, and we know c equals 2, so 2 times 1 plus 0 is 2, which means that 2b, taking all the numbers to the left hand side, equals minus 2, which means that b equals minus 1. So we have it. We can conclude, therefore, it becomes 1 over 1 plus x minus 1 over 2 plus x. Then c was 2, so plus 2 over 2 plus x squared. And there we have it. So moving on now, let's do another example. And here's the example here. Express the following in that form there. And notice it's a bit more complicated. And notice it's got some non-fraction terms as well. The reason for that is the top is cubic and the bottom is quadratic. Therefore, there's going to be a linear and constant term as well, because y cubed divided by y squared gives a y. So my preferred way of doing this is to, first of all, if we can perform a polynomial division, do. And we can perform a polynomial division because the degree of the top is greater than or equal to the degree of the bottom. If they have the same degree, or the numerator has a higher degree than the denominator, a polynomial division can be performed. So just note that the bottom there is y squared minus y. So I'm going to perform a polynomial division now. Now, whichever method you want to do, that's fine. I'm going to use a grid method though. So y squared minus y, I'm going to put a plus 0 there. And inside the grid goes the answer y cubed. Now what has to go here to make y cubed is y. Y times y squared is y cubed. Now let's multiply out this bit here. So minus y squared plus 0y. And let's look at the y squareds now. Well, we need minus y squared there. And we have a minus y squared, therefore there's nothing more to add, 0y squared. What has to go here? Well, 0. So multiplying that down, 0y and 0 also. And the number of y's we have now is minus 1y. Well, we've got no y's in the grid. So what we need on the outside, we've got no y's and we need minus 1y, so that's a remainder. And numbers wise, we've got 0 and we need minus 3, so that there is also a remainder. Therefore, we can say that that's equal to, so the quotient is just y, so y, then the remainder is minus y minus 3 over y minus 1, like that. So here we know that a is 1 and b is 0 because that was the term that was in the quotient, no constant terms. But this bit here, we're left to do that in partial fractions now. So that means that minus y minus 3 over y minus 1 is identical to a over y plus b over y minus 1, and multiplying both sides by the denominator of the compound fraction, we get minus y minus 3 equals a times y minus 1 after the cancellation plus b y, like that. So if we let y equal 1, we get minus 4 equals b. If we let y equal 0, we get minus 3 is equal to minus a, which means that a equals 3. Therefore, if we conclude, so let's go up, we had y plus 3 over y minus 4 over y minus 1. And there we've written it in that form. And a little bit of a trick was that the b, in this case, was 0. So the key point to take away from this, if the degree of the top is greater than or equal to the degree of the denominator, a polynomial division should be performed first in order to simplify stuff, leaving you with a quotient and some partial fractions to do. So have a go at the worksheet, check the answers as you go.